So here's a quick guide on how to put your Hueforge on top of the music box. We're going to start over here with the Hueforge cutter. I'm going to highlight the plate. I'm going to go up to the top and do add, and I'm going to add my Hueforge. I'm going to right click the Hueforge and do center. Then I'm going to go up to the top, click the move tool, and move it into place. You can click on the plate, left click so you can rotate around if you'd like. And I think this looks good. So I'm going to click off from the move tool. And now what I'm going to do is hold control and highlight both the Hueforge and the cutter. I'm going to right click and do merge. After merging, I'm going to keep them highlighted and go up to the mesh boolean tool. I'm going to do difference, make sure the input is deleted, so check this. Then I'm going to first click the Hueforge, so that's the subtract from. And then I'm going to click the cutter, so that's the subtract with. And I'm going to click difference. This should take about 15 to 20 seconds, depending on how complicated your model is and your computer. Now, afterwards, it's still connected, so I'm going to highlight it, click objects, so it's going to split into objects. Now if I click off the two separate parts, I'm going to click and press delete on the bottom part, and then I'm going to drag the Hueforge over here and delete that plate. So while working on this plate, I'm going to make sure that the top is center. I'm going to make sure the Hueforge is centered. And then if I go over to the left side, the objects pane, I can make sure that the top to put Hueforge on and the bird front are highlighted. I can do that by holding control and clicking both. I'm going to right click and merge. Then I'm going to go to bird front, which is my Hueforge, so it's highlighted. I'm going to rotate so I can kind of see it from the side and zoom in. I'm going to use the move tool. I'm going to grab the blue arrow and drag it up so it is, you can see where it splits. I'm going to put it right in just a little bit. So there's a little bit of overlap between the two. That looks good. So I'm going to click off to finish the move tool, and I've started the Hueforge. The next thing I need to do for the Hueforge is I need to actually do the color changes. So before I do that, right now everything is going to be 0.2 millimeters tall in layer height. That doesn't really work well with a Hueforge, but I do want the size and stuff to print much faster than what like a 0.8 millimeter layer height would do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it and go up to variable layer height. I'm going to click adaptive. And over here on the right side, I'm going to make everything on this side, I'm going to right click and drag up and down, make sure it's all 0.28. And then all these up at the top are going to be green because it's a much more complicated model. This is all the 0.08 millimeter layer height stuff, which is the Hueforge, right? So I'm now going to click off from adaptive layer height. I'm going to bring this part in because I'm actually going to be making the base of this and this the same color. And since they're the same height, the Hueforge isn't going to change the color of this. So I'm going to put these both on the plate together. But you can do however you want to do the bottom. If you want to do a different color, that's up to you. So I'm going to click on the top. And the first piece of information I need is what the total height of it is. So the total height is if I click on the assembly and I click scale, the total height is 11.5 millimeters tall. If I bring up my calculator, I'm going to put in 11.5. And now I'm going to bring up the Hueforge. And if I look at the Hueforge, you can see my actual depth, which is the total height of the Hueforge, is 2.16. So to figure out where the bottom of the Hueforge is, I'm going to take the total height, so 11.5. I'm going to subtract the height of the Hueforge. And this is where the bottom of the Hueforge lies, right? Is about 9.34. I don't know why I said 5. If I go to describe, you can see that at 0.88, I need to switch from black to orange. And at 1.44, I need to swap from orange to jade white. So first, I'm going to add 0.88 because that's when it switches from black to orange, so at 10.22. So if I slice this plate, it's all going to be black. This is because I already did this before. This is like my 5th time recording this. So I'm going to find the number closest to 10.22, which is going to be 10.18, by dragging this little plus sign. So let's go to 10.18, right click on the plus sign, change filament, and then make it the orange. And then I'm going to subtract the 0.88 again off from it. So I'll go back to the base, because this is the base of the Hueforge, and now I'm going to add 1.44. So it's going to switch from orange to white at 10.78. So let's drag this up to 10.78. They're about equidistant. I'm going to take the higher one, switch it to white, and drag this plus sign to the top. And now you can see we have the Hueforge. If I reslice this plate, we have the Hueforge, we have the metal, and we are all done. Now we can just print this and we're all good. Have a good one.